What's up, guys? It is Sam here, and I wanted to talk about why companies have such a big incentive to reduce taxes, and on a lesser degree, why I think it is super prudent, or for anybody who wants to make additional money. Why it's a good idea to have a company. But first of all, make sure you press that red button that says subscribe. Okay, so think about it this way. I'm going to lay the foundation, and then we're going to talk more in depth about the strategy behind it and whatnot. We'll assume here, right, that you have a business and you make a profit of, let's just say for easy math, $100,000. And you're in a 30% tax bracket, right? So at the end of the year, you have to pay $30,000. Okay. Now, if you made less money, you'd have to pay less in taxes. So think about this for a second. So you have $30,000 expense line, right, on your income statement. Think of like an income statement. You have your incoming and then your outgoing, and then your net at the bottom there. And the biggest line, or one of the biggest lines for expenses, is taxes. Now, if you are diligent about going throughout your year and planning, right? And it doesn't take a lot. You could, spend 20 minutes a week or something like this just to input the data and stay on track. All right. So at the end of the year, or say come the end of October or something like that, you have you're going to have a tax bill of $30,000, right? So what you could do, right? You could pay somebody to help you reduce that, right? And how could you think about whether that was a good use of money or not, right? Say hypothetically you had to pay a consultant for 4 hours worth of work at $500 a pop. $500 per hour, I mean. Right? So you have to spend $2,000. And the result of that is that you save $10,000 on your taxes. Clearly, that's a positive ROI. Now, but the vast majority of small business owners do not do that, right? So think about it in this respect, right? We'll look at the marginal dollar. Marginal just means one additional, right? So the marginal dollar that you make and how much you're going to have to pay in that. So if you make one more dollar in the year, in the last 2 months of the year, right, you have to pay 30 cents of that dollar to the government in taxes. Now, what would happen if you were, so now you project like in the month of November and December, you're going to make one additional dollar each month, right? So think about how you could spend your money, right? What are some things that you can do with your money to earn an income or earn a return on your money, right? So, and ask yourself, like, what would be a good return for you, right? Is there something that you could get for your business that has, say, a 10% rate of return, right? Whether it's like hiring somebody, part-time to work 1 day a week for you, or buying a new piece of equipment, or purchasing a course and learning more, or hiring a mentor, or whatever it is that you could do, right? And say you can get a 10%, maybe more than likely in business, a lot of times you can get significantly higher, especially for small businesses. But assume it was a 10% rate of return, right? On that money invested, right? So now, if you look at it holistically, right? So you made one additional dollar, and you have to pay. You get 70 cents, right? Because 30 cents has to go to the government. But what if you spent that dollar and you purchased this software, right? So you like you purchased $1 worth of that software. Think about, just stay with the theory for a second. So you did that, and then you get 10% return. But you have the opportunity cost, right? You go back and forth. So what you actually end up doing is you get a 30% ROI plus a 10% ROI on your money, right? Because you don't have to pay the taxes on that dollar that you spent. And you get a 10%. So you get a 40% ROI. Now think of something, like a lot of small businesses have things that yield tremendously higher than 10% ROI, right? Like especially if you're under, even if you're at $1 million in sales, there's a tremendous number of things that you could spend money on that would yield a higher ROI. So if you could get something that was 30%, then you have a 60% return on your money. What if you did something that allowed you to get in front of more people? Or to learn a new skill? Or put a new process in place, right? If you had $10,000 that you're going to have to pay, and you put in a new process that allows you to be more efficient and save on average, say, $1,000 a month going forward into the future. So your payback period is 10 months, or this plays out in perpetuity, right? So that would be a smart investment from that standpoint, right? You get a payback period in less than a year, but you also don't get to pay taxes on that. So that ridiculously compounds the returns. It's absolutely insane when you start to play it out. And I wanted to make this video because in the last 2 years, 2 to 3 years of owning my own business, I have not done a great job of the initial planning stages. And given that this is only a few months into the year so far, I'm working at getting better at that so that as the year plays out and I have a better understanding of how much taxes I'm going to have to pay for my businesses, I can take that profit and make that decision to purchase whatever it is that I want to purchase, do whatever it is that I want to do for my business, because that investment, even if there was a zero ROI, like say hypothetically it was a zero ROI thing, like a new computer, right? This computer works fine, there's nothing wrong with this computer, I just want to get a new computer. There's still 30% ROI on that because I don't have to pay taxes on it, assuming that you could expense the whole computer in year one, right? Like, you don't have to pay taxes on that. So maybe the ROI would just be in terms of my happiness, right? Because I would prefer to have a newer computer or whatever it is, right? So in a sense, companies have a crazy incentive to do this on a grandiose scale. And that also leads into like where my intentions are going forward. If you've been following along for a while, you may know, but I don't necessarily plan on staying in the U.S. If I'm able to reduce my taxes and going outside the U.S., I get a positive ROI because it's something I would like to do. I can learn from that experience, meet new people, have new opportunities, and copious other experiences that I wouldn't necessarily have if I were to be here. And the learning through that process compounds as life goes on. So if I can move outside the country, and I get a 30% ROI on that because I'm moving, and then I also get a tremendous ROI on myself and what I'm doing by taking this route, like, it just makes sense. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to press that red button that says subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. I don't think a lot of people are prepared or think about it in this way, but I would love to know your thoughts down below in the comments. And or what you're doing to prepare, how you think about this going forwards. Anyways, appreciate you guys. Peace out.